Okay, here we go. So this is all three of my layer comps put into one document as we did in class. And you can see that I've got all of my layers selected here. And there is a new feature that a student pointed out to me. If I hit Command G on the Mac, I'll do this now. Command G, it will group, it will actually take all of those layers and put them into a new group folder, just to make it convenient to have layers but not be untidy. So we will relabel this as layout number 3, and that's good. And I've already got my layer comps set up this way, but I just want to update them now. So let's see, we'll kind of go back and forth here. So layout number 1 also has the layout number 3 turned on, so I'm just going to turn this off here and update this comp. Go to layout number 2, and layout 2 is good. Layout 3 doesn't have anything on, so we'll just turn this back on. All the layers are on, obviously, and update this comp. And I think we're okay now. Yay. Okay. So the next thing is we're going to put some pictures on top of our gray boxes here. In this case, I'm going to hit Command O and go find my desktop and find the new pictures that are here. I'm going to open all of these at one time. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll do all of them at one time. So I'll shift click down here and open them all up. And I'm sure you've seen me move layers from one document to the next, but it is a little messy here. So we're going to break this up into 2 windows. Window arrange, 2 up vertical. Unfortunately, it doesn't really arrange which windows we want to have where. So I want the tabs layer, this one here, and I want to put this over in another window and move this tab out of this back over here. One more time. There we go. Okay, I'm going to close this up for a moment. And I've got 3 pictures here, image 7.6, 7.5, and 7.7. I'm going to command minus a couple of times on these things just to make them clear. Oops. There we go. Okay, so in this case I've got 3 to pick from here, up at the top. And I think 7.7 is the clearest. So I'm going to close these other 2, I don't need them. And I'm going to use the move tool. Now I can drag from here or I can drag from the background layer. This will work. And when it comes in here, we know that this picture is ginormous. It's way too big. So first of all, I'm going to scale this down to fit in. So Command T or hit free transform, either one will do. And of course I can't see the controls on this unless I really zoom the heck out here. We could do that, or we could just go up here to the width and height, and I'm going to link these 2 together so it comes down proportionally, not that it really needs to. But I'm going to drop this at about 20-some% and zoom in. And I'll probably even put this into place. So I'll drag this close up here. I'm going to zoom in just to this corner. And I can see that I've got to push this over there. Now it's covering that nicely. And I'll zoom out and turn off the check mark here, or the link that is, and put that into place just like that. Hit enter and we're good. So layer 1 is there. I don't need this one anymore, so I'll close this up. And I've got 3 pictures from YouTube that I want to use as still shots that could be links to videos later. So I'll put this over here. Again, similar kind of situation. It's not going to fit exactly correctly at first, so we'll just place this in and then hit Command T. I will fit that in there just like that. Close this one. Command W closes windows. One more time. There we go. I'll fit this. Zooming in, nicely done. Command T, and done there. Close this one up. I'll take this one and drop it here. And Again, zooming in. Command T. Right there. I think that looks good. Yep. Alrighty. So let's close this one. And now it's time to, let's see, we've got the 3 tabs here. So I'm going to take this one and put it in the center. Since this is 4 string, that's the base tab. Use my arrow keys to get that into place. I can close this one. This is the 6 string. So I'll dump this in here. One more time. There we go. Close this one, and here's my 5 string, which is for banjos. Apparently we have to click the to tell it we're going to move first. There we go. And I can close this one up, and now we will scale these up. Now I'm going to turn on my auto select and hit the layer. So we've got this number 6. We don't really care what number it is. And actually I'm going to scale these things up, but since they weren't cut at a proper size, really I'm just going to scale these up 200% on all scores. There we go. And I will move this into position. I just need it to cover the gray background. So this here we're working not so much to fill the gray box as cover the gray box. And you can see that we're covering the cut line down here, the label, and that's okay for now. Let's zoom over here, click on this one, Command T, again, just going to 200%. That's cool. And going over here, again, 200%. Excuse me. Now, just to make sure that I've got all these guys, I'm going to select all of these at once, which is a neat thing that the move tool can do. Is I can grab all 3 of these at one time, and I'm just going to make sure that they're basically aligned, and that's going to be this tool here that is align vertical centers. And when I do that, it moves these things a couple of pixels. I just want to make sure that it covers the gray box behind it. That's all. And then down here, let's go back to a little zoom value, and let's click on this one. There we go. That takes me to guitar tab, bass, and banjo. So I'm going to shift click all 3 of these. There we go. And I'm just going to move them down. I'm going to hit the shift key. I'm going to hit the shift key and hit the down arrow, because when you hit shift plus an arrow, it moves it down 10 pixels at a time. I would like to make sure that these are aligned. I'm pretty sure they were. I'm going to do a top alignment. Oh, and that looks better. Okay. I'm happy like that. We might want to actually move this up just a little. Oh, we can't because banjo is getting cut off at the top there. So I'm happy right there. Okay. And let's go back to our layer comps. And this is going to be based on layer comp 1, so we'll give it a new name. We will make sure that these things are on. And 1.1. Click OK. So next we're going to create a different font on this headline. And in class we kind of did it backwards or incorrectly one time, so you can kind of see how that goes. So we'll do that here too. So I'll click on this layer and oops, hello. There we go. And it takes me to the selected layer down here, how to read and play. And what we've done before is just gone to the character panel. So actually I'm going to put my layer comps out here and close this up and get the character panel, get that out here, and close the other things up so we can just keep these on screen. And all I'm going to do is change my Myriad Pro. Something is wrong here. Why are we not doing this? Highlighted, there we go. And go to Trajan Pro, and that turns into kind of a fun classic font there. And we'll go ahead and create a new comp 1.2. But the problem is, as we go backwards in time, you know, we should go back to, I mean, this comp should only have this one change, right? But it doesn't. All of these fonts or all of these LayerComp1 versions, all have Trajan Pro now. And that is because what we've seen before. We can track visibility, we can track position, we can track appearance, but we cannot track something as simple as a font change. So this is no good. Let's hit Command Option Z a few times until these changes go away. Command Option Z, 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 Z. There we go, back to origin. So when you want to make a change for a comp and layer comps can't handle that change, then what we have to do is kind of come up with a workaround. And that is we're going to click on that and we're going to take this layer and we're simply going to duplicate it. So the command is a Command J, it's Control J on the PC. So of course any new layer that shows up on top of what was currently selected, which is this one. So we'll turn off the old one, leave the new one on, and set this for Trajan Pro. There we go. And we'll make a comp out of that. Bingo. 1.2. And now we can go back through time and see the different versions. Looking pretty good. And now we're going to do some color. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of my panels here and click on the background. I want a new layer on top, and you'll see here that this is an empty layer. There's no pixels in there. And in order to do what we need to do, we need to actually fill this up. Now I've currently got black, but just to make this a little bit more of a clean explanation, I'm going to flip these so that white is in the background. Okay, and then I'm just going to hit Command Delete, and that actually filled this with whatever color I had in my color chip in the background. Well, that's what I want. I just wanted some pixels back there. And I'm going to add a color overlay in a minute. But before I do that, I want to show you something else. Let's go up into the swatches. Now, these are the standard kind of colors that comes with Photoshop. And it makes it convenient to grab some colors from a palette you can get to quickly without having to, go over to the mixer all the time in the color picker and monkey with that. We don't really need to do that. Let's do this. Let's apply a little bit of color theory here. Go to Extensions and then go to Cooler. And what this does is it comes up with a bunch of suggested palettes and color schemes for your project. Now, these were already in the library. I'm sure there's other libraries here, actually. Oh, maybe there's not. Wow. But these are the suggested colors. Now, I want to use Chuck Howard in a moment. But before I do that, I just wanted to give you a quick thing over here. When you hit Create, you can see the different color harmonies. This is analogous. This is monochromatic, triadic, complementary, compound, etc. And actually, I like, well, let me just play with this. So hopefully you might remember this from class. But basically, this allows you to pick colors that are in a particular color harmony, and makes your life a little bit easier when it comes to getting colors that can work together. This feels very Eastery right there, doesn't it? Well, that's analogous color harmony. And of course, we go to the monochromatic and pull a few points up there. And maybe even change the brightness value. Fun. Anyway, so in case you want to make your own color harmonies, that's cool. What we're going to do is take these colors. Now, I don't want to keep coming back to Cooler to use any of these colors, so I want to apply this particular set into my swatches. So all I'm going to do is make sure that this is selected, and then click on this button down here, Add Selected Theme to Swatches. Bingo. And then those 5 color swatches show up there. I can close Cooler. So now I can go back to my layer 8, and I'm going to add an effect. Well, layer styles is what they're called. And I'm going to do color overlay. And by default, it starts off with that obnoxious red. And I'm going to click on this color chip and not mix a new color, but go over here. Notice how my cursor now changes to an eyedropper. I'm going to click on this cream color and click OK. And we'll click OK here. And that's our first change. Okay, we're going to continue with this. So let's go to this tablature deal. And for this one, again, I'm going to do a color overlay. Same situation. Again, I'm not going to go to the mixer, I'm just using it as a starting point, and then we will go to the dark mint that's here. That changes the color up there, that's nice. And I'm going to click on resources. There it is there. Similar. We're going to go to color overlay, change the color chip, and I want the light mint this time. Click OK, and there it's changed. And if you recall from class, this is the fun part here. Let's see, where did it go? Resources, where did I have that? There it is. So I want to duplicate resources to the Write Your Own tab layer, which is this guy right over here. So all I'm going to do is hold down the Option key and drag color overlay down one layer, boom, and it actually changes that color there. Terrific. Now I know the next one is this link one, so all I'm going to do is Option click the color overlay here and dump it on that. So now those guys are up to date. Now let's make a new a new layer comp. We'll call this 1.3. 1.3. Cool. And as we saw in class, this is just too light to read. So this was a nice attempt. We tried, the mint, but it's too light against this creamy background, right? So what we'll do is change the color again. This time I'm just going to, I can do any direction. I'll do the color overlay for the links. So in this case we'll go back here, click on the color chip, and then I want the beigey, dark beige here. And click on that, and I can see the links a lot clearer now, so that's awesome. I'll click OK, and then I will option click the color overlay and just duplicate down to these guys. So it goes much faster now that we know what we're doing, huh? So there it is there. I'll duplicate from that to that. Bingo. Those are up to date. This guy here, I'll turn off the mask for a minute. Still a little difficult to read. I do want to keep this dark mint, so I'll click on that layer, and I'm going to add a drop shadow. And like I showed you in class also, when you've got this window open like this, when you click over here, you can click and drag and just move the shadow any place. Now what I want to do is lay this out so it makes it easier to read. Right now it's a little bit difficult. I'm going to thicken up the spread here to 10%, which is a little thick yet. I like the direction. Actually, I like it if it was going to be like 180, so I'll put 180 in here. And 6 distance is okay, but the actual drop shadow itself is still a little thick. I'm going to drop this to like 50%. So it's not quite as obnoxious. Gives a little bit of definition. Okay? So we've changed these colors again. I don't want to make a new comp out of this, but I do. Let me move this over. It's not opening. There we go. I do just want to update this, so I can click over here, or I can click over here, update layer comp, either one. Boom. Now we've got some older versions here. There's the without color version, but it does have a new font. Here's the one with just pictures, and then of course back to our original. So we're going to work with this one. And for the last thing is, we can include shapes. Now of course, by the way, don't forget, I just only use 2 things here. I do hope that you experiment with some of these items when you do your pages. Could be fun. But what we're going to do here is just add a shape. Now in this case, I want the new shape to show up on top of layer 8. So in this case, I want to go over here and choose rounded rectangle. So there's rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, line tool, etc. Custom shapes. I want the rounded rect, and I'm going to go choose the mint. Actually, I'll do the light mint. There we go. And I'm going to draw a box just outside here. And actually, it snaps to the guideline anyway, so it really isn't that big a deal. And that looks pretty good. And why didn't it show? Why didn't it show? Interesting. Undo. Command Option Z. Okay. We're good there. Let's try that one more time. Why didn't it go? Oh, I know why. It's because of this. it needs to be set to shape. A path is just a wire path. The shape is what we really want. Okay, now we're in good shape, so to speak. Okay, so we'll click and drag up here. Actually, this one should work better because there's a little bit more space above the copy. There we go, and now I'm going to let go. Boom, that's what I'm looking for. So now when I change off that layer, you can see that the wireframe goes away, and we're just left with color, and that's pretty nifty. And that's it. Let's make a new layer comp out of this. 1.4, is that right? Yep. And click OK, and we're done. Hope that helped.